If you don't like your destiny, don't accept it. Instead, have the courage to change it the way you want it to be. So first of all, we'll start with what is destiny. So destiny is not a fixed point that we think in our mind. It is sort of a blueprint. And by a blueprint, I mean it is something that is flexible, that keeps on changing depending upon a lot of variables, which is your action, your mindset, and your attitude towards your goal. Now, step number 1 and the most important step is to have faith. I know it sounds pretty simple, but faith, trust me, is the most difficult thing to do when nobody believes in you. Once you're done with the most difficult part, the next important thing is execution. It doesn't matter how small the effort is, but the effort has to be made. Focus here would be to keep making steady progress. It doesn't matter how small the progress is, even if it is like 0.1% better than yesterday, it is still improvement. As long as we are steadily improving in our journey, that's all there is to it. So now progress is a very interesting thing to look at. So when I'm talking about progress, we automatically think about somebody who's better than us and not about somebody who's not better than us. Because our mind is hardwired to think like that. We don't look at what we have, but we always seek out what we don't. And that is exactly how our mind tricks us in believing that we are never good enough. Never good enough to achieve a particular task, never good enough to be okay with someone, never good enough for anything in our life. Now, why do you think the mind does that? Because the mind always takes the path of least resistance. It doesn't want to be successful like you. It doesn't want to get out of that bed, do the hard stuff that makes you grow each day, that makes you a better person, that makes you much more than what you already are. Because for the brain, for the mind, it is always the primal instinct to survive. And for survival, you don't need to be good. You don't need to be great. You just need to be average. And that is where your mind wants to be. Now, the trick is to be aware that you are always in a fight with mind, like a tug of war. It doesn't want to change and you want to bring change. It doesn't want to go out of the comfort zone, you want to go out of the comfort zone because there is where you grow. But the mind doesn't want to do that. So what you do? You know and be ready when the mind tricks you in believing that you are not good enough. You understand there is always a resistance fighting against you, and once you are aware of that resistance, you know how to deal with it because now you are aware of it. So, what do we do with this awareness? The answer lies with the word adaptability. We have always listened to this that, the person who's not adaptable will not survive. The reason is as we humans have aged so much, we have evolved at the top of the food chain just because of the single quality that we possess is being highly adaptable. Now, how do we adapt? By changing our environment. Whenever we change our environment, our body changes, our mindset changes. It's the response to stimuli. How do you bring that change? One change at a time. That one change can be as simple as introducing 5 minutes of walk in your morning routine, or 5 minutes of meditation daily, or reading 5 pages of book daily. Anything that you like to pick, anything that you enjoy, you need to do it daily. That's the point. Regardless of the day, you need to do it daily. Now, even if you like that activity, after a couple of days, you might feel that you don't want to do it today, or you might feel that I'm too tired today, and you might feel that what the hell is going to happen if I keep on doing this? But the point is, now you realize that is your brain talking against you. It is the tug of war that is going constantly inside your head, and you can't let the brain win every time. So now, by doing this one activity every day, you choose not to listen to your brain, and that teaches you to live a conscious life. And once you start living a conscious life, that changes you as a person. And this, my friend, teaches you the power of being consistent. And trust me, once you learn the power of being consistent, oh boy, that's the best high you can get. Because once you learn how to be consistent, you now realize that everything you thought that was impossible in the life, you now know that it is possible. You just need to be consistent enough to achieve it. And suddenly the illusion in your mind breaks. Like, oh shit man, I could have done this. If I only knew that I just needed to stay consistent for a little longer. Once you have tasted the power of being consistent, you are excited. Like really excited. Because now you want to try everything that you thought was impossible. Now suddenly it is possible. Now you are stupid enough to believe in your dreams. Now you're stupid enough to try the impossible. And that exactly, my friend, is what separates an ordinary person from a person who achieves their dream. Because everybody can dream, but not everybody tries to attempt the impossible unless you, in your mind, can think it possible. And once you can achieve that state in your mind that you're already a winner, my friend, congratulations, you did it. Since you have completed the most difficult part of the process, the only thing that is left is to complete those actions. Take those actions towards your goal, no matter how small that is, you will achieve it. Now, why should you listen to me? Because I should be dead. But I'm alive, doing this podcast, inspiring people around me. Exactly 2 years ago, I had such a bad accident that it broke my neck. Just imagine any guy with a broken neck and you'll realize the agony I was in. I was on the bed for 3 months and then I was still recovering for a year later. And during this phase, I realized that I had a lot of mental strength. I was observing the world around me. I had to learn to eat again, to walk again, to do all the basic stuff again that a normal baby does when it is born. It was a difficult phase of my life, but I think a very quality phase. Because it taught me a lot about myself, it taught me a lot about life, it taught me a lot about mindset. During this phase, I had promised myself that I'll get up and I'll achieve a physique that I'll be proud of. And exactly 2 years after this accident, I became a powerlifter, and not just any average powerlifter. I could squat more than 150 kgs, I could deadlift around 200, I could bench above 100 kgs in just a span of 2 years. And this was during COVID pandemic. Now just imagine a guy who has a broken neck having a six-pack abs or becoming a powerlifter. It just sounds insane. I can't even believe myself right now speaking this, that if you would have asked me at that point of time in my life that, Neeraj, do you think yourself seeing ahead in time having abs or having the strength of lifting 100 kgs on your hands? Like, are you crazy? No, you're not. So everything that I spoke of, everything that I just said, I know it can change lives because it changed mine. And through this podcast, I definitely want to change your life too. If you truly believe in my words and if you truly put them into actions, I swear, you will get what you want. And we all will. Because we all can change our destiny. And that is my gift through this podcast. That is episode 1 of Naruto Talks with Neeraj. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep believing in yourself. Stay stupid.